I bought this hovercraft about a month ago, and we really haven't done anything to it yet. The first thing I need to do before I really start on this thing, and all the other projects keep getting in the way, hopefully are done soon, but I need to make sure these power plants, these engines work, because if not, that's one of the first things I need to do is track down what propulsion I'm going to use, whether I'm going to switch to electric, which would be probably pretty expensive, or find some other gas engines that'll work. So let's break into these 50-plus-year-old engines that haven't run in 25 years. See if we can't at least get them to pop off. So there are two engines, two J-Lo Rockwell engines. Where the number plates would be, it's all worn off. So I'm not exactly sure. You can just tell by the casting. See how wide this casting is beside the flywheel. This one is not wide. So it's like best I can tell online, since this is only one cylinder, this is like a 380 and this is like a 270 something like that. But I came out and sprayed down these linkages again, since this thing was pretty cruddy. I started to take these bolts out, and really I think the biggest thing we need to do is make sure the carb is freed up. Probably pop this off and see if there's points under here, because if there's points in there, they definitely need to be filed so that we can get spark to our spark plug. But yeah, let's start somewhere. Now, I'm just going to take these bolts out. I had them loose. I think I took two of them out the other day, yesterday. Where it is? Let's try to keep this on here to protect it from the weather. That other one is better than this one because it's not as torn apart. So I think this side was in the sun more than that other side. Why? Just putting a little bit of PB Blaster on there so I can take that off. I don't know if it's gonna do anything for us, but whatever. This is just the choke. So it goes up here. This is where the chokes are. Someone's been removed on there, so it's like they already started to try to work on that one, but they stopped. Yeah, this side is seized up. It's like bending. That's not the right. It's not the right spray. Well, I'll have to come apart to fix that if it's going to get fixed, but there's the thingy. Now, see, there's a bolt already missing. I think there was some furry critter nestage going on in there. I don't doubt it. Probably gonna find the same in these mufflers. But to even get this off, I need to take this off. outer case here, there's 2 half-inch bolts, one here and one on the other side. There's a spot down here, but this is empty. And then up here, must have fallen. There are 2 10mm bolts, really long ones that go across. So I've already lost that one. And then in the back, hard to see, down here, that's not in the back, but there's where this hole is over here. There's another hole there, and there is it's like a flathead. So got a flathead bit. See what I can do. Let me come over here. Hold it on the best I can. It's not going. That is like the worst bolt screw. Come on, man. It's like stripping out. Why can't anything be even slightly, sort of, maybe a little bit simple? Never, ever, 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 ever. Never, ever, 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 ever. Oh, man. Yeah, it's stripping out that stupid flathead. Because why wouldn't it? It's a 7/8, but it's not even tight. It doesn't even need to. Spark plug's clean. Well, that's good. Can look down the cylinder. Let's do it. I'm going to record here. Let's get that down to the bottom. There we go. Piston looks good. The cylinder walls actually look good. Well, that's good. This is the Snap-on Lone Wolf 5000 or whatever. Let's see if it'll. Don't know. What are we doing? All I can say is the starter's not happy. I put the jumper on it, cable down there, and started heating up and melting my wires. So let's take it off. It's pretty simple. Just 3 bolts here, 2 bolts on the body part, and that'll actually help me get to that bolt down there that I need to take off and unscrew or drill out. All right, well, I got all the hardware out of the starter. There's the bracket and the bolts. These 2 bolts, open and wrench only. No other tools may apply. It's so close to the starter. Let's see if it's, there it goes. Ooh. Yeah. What we got in there? A few things. But it spins. Well, let's try this again. There's got to be a isolator there. Yeah, there we go, heating it up. Let me, yeah, it's got to be the hot there. There's nothing else for it to do, right? Stupid little starter. Yeah, because there's no other, that's it. It's got to be shorted inside. Guess I'm going to have to rebuild that. So to try that one too. Also, no dice. So I guess sitting for 25 years, starters will freeze up on you. And then getting a good angle in here. I got my UE Cove extractor left-handed drill bit set. And again, I'm going to try to drill that flathead out that's right there where my finger is. So it's hard to get. If this stupid thing wasn't here, I'd be able to get a good angle. But I'm just going to drill it out, and then hopefully the left-handed drill bit catches it. Otherwise, it's just like a kind of a flat-headed bolt. And once you drill to the size of the diameter of the bolt, it'll come out. So let me get to that. The left-hand drill bit didn't catch in. It was kind of off-center. But here you can see here we got it off. A little dirty under there. Corroded. But I could probably pull that out with something. It was off, but enough that I could pry it and break the head of the bolt off. So that's what we got there. Part of it's, no, that's not down there. All right, now I'll start taking bolts off the flywheel. See if we got some points down there. That's this J-Lo Rockwell engine. Looking like it looks. It's a trip. It is a trip. I got my impact out, so I'm going to let Jesus take the wheel here on some of these. That. This does have a nice dust cap on it, so it has protected this. Well, I put this dust cover back on because everything under here is really clean, so I want to protect that. But this is as far as I'm going to go today for two reasons, and they're both right there. And even if I did free up more of these linkages, which they are, oh man, there's these, like this paddle, it's this side of this shaft is frozen. So I've got it soaking, but I might have to heat it up. And getting to the bolts, I guess I could just use a wrench and pull it off, take all the stuff off. But yeah, it's a good, interesting little thing. So that's this carbs. I tried to find other carbs for these. They're all the aftermarket stuff. These are like 3 inches on center, and there's nothing that big. There's some cheap stuff out there, but nothing that would fit that. I'd have to make a special adapter. So there's that. And then, yeah, I can't start it. So there's a starter that's frozen. I tested that starter. That starter's frozen. The pull cable, as you see, is not functional at all. This one is even worse, so I'm going to pull this one off too. I'll take them in the garage, and at some point those will be the first things I start on. Next thing I do is try and get these pull cables, or maybe this one's tougher to get to, being upside down, get that starter off and try to get these starters free. So if I can get that one starter free, then I'll come back and worry about this one. Then I'll come take this one off. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. We'll soldier on here and get back to it another day. So now I've got the starter and the thrust motor pull start mechanism up on the bench. There's the one from the smaller motor. These are actually exactly the same size. So that's good. But as you can see, that one there is not in, great shape. So we'll see. I did soak some PB Blaster on the screws, and then I just soaked this whole thing down with PB Blaster. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is try and spin this. And if I could free it up, I've got a 12 volt converter here, and I'll just run the negative to the casing, and then I'll just use my Lone Wolf again, see if I can't start it. So the Bendix spins out. So I know that once it spins out, the motor needs to turn. So let's, oh, there we go. A little bit of, it's freeing up a little. Well, is that free enough to give it a shot? Maybe. Well, let's try it. All right, don't pop any breakers. Let's see. Whoa! It's alive! Awesome. Just a little bit of penetrating fluid. Twisting it with the pliers. I am very happy with that. And I think the other one will probably come around the same. So just got to take that one off and free it up. I'm glad I didn't have to take this thing apart. That's awesome. This is a Snow Start USA 6958001 Tech 1, 12 volt D2, made in Japan. Made in Japan. So that would explain why I have a lot of metric bolts on this thing. Now that the starter's working, let's see if we can't get the pull start mechanism working. Let's see what we got. We got some bug stuff. These little cap things, I don't even know what they are. Just caps, I guess, to go on top of the springs. A couple of springs. Yeah. These things are frozen. Seahorse? Because it looks like a seahorse. I guess it comes off. All right. These come off. Find some emery cloth. Yeah, this one is a little bit worse, I would say. Just a touch. Knock this into the trash. Ah! Well, as I was emptying it, I just did that. So Yeah, this one works. These, however, gonna need to sit. Can't explain how this one just started working. I don't even know what these do. Under that, what do they do? I guess I just hold this down, but that's screwed in. No, it's, well, yeah, it's screwed in. All right, let's see if I can get these off. This one was sitting, vertical or horizontal, not vertical, so it caught a lot more water over the life of wherever it was sitting before I got a hold of this thing. So that's why this one was worse. Yeah. Also, these springs here are gone. This might require heat. So. All right, I'm just gonna let this sit. Maybe I'll grab some heat, which is right here. And let me look at that other one for a minute. Got to work harder and smarter. Is it the same? I don't even know. What? No. That all it took? That's all it took? That's all it took, man. Just these big old pliers. Couple of giant pliers is all she needed, I guess. Make sure. All right, gonna leave it there. Go ahead and put this one back together, and then we'll check on that other one here. See if we can't heat it up. It's 15 minutes later, and lining up these little springs are a nightmare. So, yeah, if there's any easier way to do it, let me know. These things are a pain in the rear end. They don't just like lock down in there. That'd be nice. They spring up, and then when they don't go down, they go a little crooked, and then they're not springy. But yeah, they're very annoying because then you got to get this thing on top, and they've got to be seated, and they want to pop up. That was kind of in there. All right, moving on. I have a feeling, I know this one is not going to work. So this will never work again in the way you want it to work, because those little teeth, so you see, it's hard to see, there's indentations here. So there's a small track and a larger track. And as you pull it, those teeth fling in, and that's what's going to catch on the crankshaft and turn it. So if I get both starters working, that's great. But I'm only going to have one because there's just no way this is going to work. I don't know. There's some there, but I don't know. Good news is one of these came off without heat, but this one not so cooperative. All right, well, I think I'll get this off pretty soon. So, yeah, but again, I don't know what I'm gonna do about this because I don't think it's gonna work. Well, I'm back on the hovercraft. Here, I got this starter put back on, and I just pulled this one off. And yeah, it was hard coming off. So I don't know if I'll be able to save this one. This one does not look good, but we'll see. Yeah, that's pretty rough. Good news is this plate here, I found another. So this one, or just the way it was sitting, I think the way it collected rain just must have rusted way more than this one, because this one's rain was able to drain. Rain is sitting in this. I found one on eBay for $12, so $13 shipping and handling, so $25, and I got another one on the way, so that's good. But I've got a compression set here. I mean, I was hoping to get that so I can do a compression test on this one, but maybe I'll just put that on there and I'll be able to do it. But let's do a compression test on this one here in a minute. So that's my next step. I've also got a little torch, so I'm gonna try to heat up this little side of the carb here, maybe get this free, and then I'm gonna cut this one off so I can see if I can get this one free as well. So looks like we got a little movement there. This one still has no movement. I'm going to heat this up with the torch. See if we can get to it. Well, a little heat and we got some movement. So that's not too bad. Yeah, that's much better. There we go. Let me lube this thing up a little bit. I'm going to put my gauge up top, see if we can see what our compression is. But there it is. Let me open it up a little more, see what we got inside there. Yeah, that one in there's moving, so get some blaster in there and move that around some more. All right, we got power. The battery's hooked up. The problem was one of my grounding wires is not good, so let's see. Oh, well, let's try a different wire. That one doesn't like it. All right, I finally found a good ground. I just got a nice thick wire here. I actually grounded it right to the back of the starter. The other wire's in the starter. I've already started to get some compression, so like 125 psi. I don't know what these are supposed to be, but 100, 110, 120, almost 130, 130 psi. Not bad. Not bad at all. Inch and a 16th. Of course, I need a pulley for this. I tracked down some bolts that fit this thing. This one of these has been missing a bolt for quite some time, so it's not the easiest threads. It's already bending the head of that bolt. Oh, come on, man. It's another thing that's just going to be a pain to take apart, huh? I can see the points in there. I could probably clean them from here without taking that off. I just don't know. All right, well, these old two-stroke small engines are not my cup of tea, right? I was already like wondering where the heck a battery went, but apparently what AI is telling me, and what some of you probably already know, is these engines, the coil inside here creates power, and that's what comes out of these two yellow wires, and this is going to provide its own power to the coil to spark the spark plug. So there is no battery because these engines create their own power. So I could be wrong, who knows, but let's see what I don't see any spark. This is not a good, I don't know how good this cable is, so let's see if the one on this other one is better. Let's see what we got. Test the coil. I pulled the wire coming from the points and the whatever inside of the engine to the coil. Hooked it up to my test light, and I am getting a reference signal from, so it is sending a signal to the coil. So plug that back in and see if maybe this wire or something is just not, it's just junk. I switched these coils over, and I don't think this wire comes out of here, but on this one that was on this engine, it pulls out. So I don't think it's supposed to do that. So I'm gonna have to try to find some of these coils, because I think these coils are bad. And then maybe we'll get some spark out of this thing eventually. So yep, that's the next step. All right, so it's been a few days, and I got this starter inside, and I started taking it apart or trying to get it freed up, and I just kept going without recording it. So I'm pretty sure there's no video of this thing, but as you can see, the bad news is it's pretty rough. The good news, using these pliers and these big pliers, I held the body of it, and I also leaned it up on its edge and poured some PB Blaster in here and let that soak for a couple hours, and I was able to get the Bendix free. It's actually moving really nice for as rough and terrible as it looks. So I got the Bendix free, and I was able to hold the body and grab the Bendix with these pliers and turn it, and then applied some power to it. Nothing, clearly. As you can see, you probably know exactly why. All the little springs and everything from the armatures, just, yeah, it's gone. It's just way too gone. Even if I cleaned it up, I think these springs I need to replace those, and yeah, clean this. So yeah, it's just not going to happen. I don't know if the body of that would even be savable, but it is there. I cleaned it a little bit with some emery cloth, just hoping, and I don't know, even these screws that hold it together are almost rotten through. So that is the condition of the starter. So I found another starter. These are very similar to, if you look on Amazon, it's extremely hard to find this. It took me hours to find one that maybe will work. And we got something to do on it here in a minute, but it's a pretty small starter, and their lawnmower, snowmobile starters look about the same size, but they don't have the same. I couldn't find any, and even the ones on Amazon, none of them even tell you whether or not they have the correct width, which is like 3 inches or something like that. So the only one I did find, and then some of those, AI, ChatGPT says there are a ton of the ones that look right or not right. They're too small. This width is too small. And the cross-referencing it can do, but as you know, it does lie. But I did find one that has the right pitch. Well, also the other problem is this is a 9-tooth starter. I could not find all the other starters that look like they might be the right size as far as height, but I couldn't get this measurement. They were all 10 teeth. So I found a 9-tooth starter, and it had the correct spacing for the holes, but you can clearly see, hopefully, probably, this. So this is like 1.1 inches, and this is like 1.5 inches. The shaft, however, is a 1/2 inch. So both shafts are correct. I saw a couple of Bendixes online, but I don't know if they're the right size. Again, this measurement, just not one of the measurements they give you. So it's hard to tell. And obviously this is a little bit taller, still might fit, but heavier and taller. So it'd be, I don't know, mounting it on that housing, even if it's just temporary, I'll still try it. But again, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you some of the new parts I got that I'll be trying to put on. It's been rainy and wet today. So tomorrow it'll be rainy and cold and wet. And tomorrow it'll be cold but dry. So I'll be able to get back out and try some of the parts. And those parts are these right here. So I got clearly a coil wire. I got some new pull handles. I got one of the two. I don't know. I ordered both at the same time. They're this big. So one of the two kits to rebuild the carb, which may be the next video. We'll see. And then I did find two of these, and I'll try to put everything in the description and talk. I'll look this one up again, but it wasn't easy. But I did find this very similar, almost identical connection style for the coil. So that was not easy to find either, but I did find that on Amazon. And the most expensive thing here was this starter, and it was only $50. So these are about $20 a piece. I can't remember. I know these rebuild kits are pretty cheap. So I did get both of those. I'll try to remember. If I do record in the video, I'll tell you the uniqueness about this. But there was someone on Amazon. There was a commenter on one of my videos in the hovercraft Facebook group that did say, "Hey, you have the the large indicator that says it's the larger bore for the carburetor." So I was using that information, able to find a kit, cross-reference it, so it looks like it is the kit that I need. Again, the same problem with the spacing is the spacing on the carburetor. That carburetor is really wide, and it's really hard to find one. And also, it has a built-in fuel pump, and some of these bigger pieces there. There's a rubber piece there. The diaphragm for the fuel pump, because that's going to help. If you're driving a craft, it's going to allow you to actually keep continuous fuel pushing to the engine and let it run. So that's a thing. So, all right. Let's see if we can switch these Bendixes. That's what I'm going to try to do. Even this crappy Bendix, I think, is good enough to turn the wheel. So that's the quick task I'm going to do now, and then tomorrow we'll get out, see if this will bolt up. This edge here, this is wider. Not concerned about that right now, but maybe in the future I will want to. I'll have to grind this down if it doesn't fit quite right. But coming from let's just go here, do a very unscientific, yeah. So the top of the shaft and the face of the starters both seem to be about the same. So that's good. Let me set up, see if we can't swap these real quick. All right, well, I've come to a stopping point because obviously as I try to put this Bendix down, it wouldn't fit. Thought maybe I could take the inner part of this Bendix out and replace it with this one. However, I just noticed the threads are different. So these threads are basically right hand, these are left hand. So this motor, I guess, spins a different direction. So yeah, there's that. So that's it. I think that's where we kind of call it for now. I know there's some other Bendixes. I don't know if, obviously, even if they go a different direction, this shaft is turning the wrong way. So it's not going to throw out the Bendix in the correct way. So that's where we're stopping for today. So I'm back out on the hovercraft. I've already connected the battery to the starter, just so it's there. But here is that coil. Oh man, it even looks like the screws are going to mount up the same. And this is what they look like from the top. So again, they look the same. So let me get a flathead, take this one off, swap in the new one, and then like I said, I've also got a new lead. This one goes to this engine over here. And this one has this built-in tab, so I'm thinking, this was, you can spin it, so I guess I could probably replace that if I put that one on there wherever it mounts to this button. So that probably wasn't custom to this, but all right, let me pull this off, swap these over, and see what we got. Here's the setup. It's pretty easy. Again, just 2 bolts here. This ground wire. This wire just pushes down in. As you can see, there's just a little barb, little thing. It's supposed to pierce next to the electrode wire, and then this one goes into the signal. So I guess we should see if we have any spark. Well, I still am not getting spark to the out this plug wire. So I don't know. Maybe I do have to pull the actually get my puller, get some right bolts for it, and get it to work. So in the meantime, I've gone ahead and hooked up this one. I don't know how the heck I can do this, but I've hooked the pull starter up, and I'm gonna see if, and I did switch over this coil. So let's see if we can get spark on this one, maybe. And then if I get spark on it, then I'll worry about taking apart this cover. And I did find some of these online on a specialty store. A little air breather cover. So yeah, I got 2 of these. They were $7 each or something like that. Pretty cheap, but they're gonna fit. They're gonna work. You know, something you'd have to get a 3D printer for. So, but I can't hold the camera and do this at the same time. But I'll do my best to keep you guys in the picture. Let's see if that works. Probably not. But see if I got sparks. Still don't have spark. All right, so I think I just have to take the flywheel off and check those points. I am getting now a signal. Don't know if I'll be able to, if you'll be able to see it, but the it's grounding out. But anyway, this, I can get the test light on both coils now where the coil wire goes to give me a signal. The problem is with the new coil wire, I can't get a signal on the end of it, but with the old coil wire I can. So these might be the wrong coil wires. Probably are. Probably the wrong coil wires. I'll look, they might be more of a solid. I mean, these are so old, it's hard to even tell. But yeah, I get the signal on one on the old with the old wire, but I can't get it to still jump anything, even with this tool set extremely low. I can't get any spark to jump, so it's just got to be weak, and it's got to be the point system. So let me cover this up and go find out what size these bolts are and go pick some longer bolts up. All right, I got my master bolt grip set out again. I went to Lowe's, and these are M6, so 6 by 1.0 bolts by 65 millimeters, so they're like 2.5 or 3 inches. And then I got some washers that'll fit as well, so that I can try and get this pulled out. So let's set this up again and try this again with the right bolts this time, and we'll be able to check the points. And is there a magneto in here? I don't know. I think there's magnetos in here or something. I'm not a small man when it comes to small engines like this, but I guess we'll find out together. Except for you guys who already know, or just yelling at me for taking my sweet time to fix this thing. Sorry guys, I'm not a small, I mean, I'm learning here, but I'm not a small engine guy. Points, you know, maybe inside of a distributor would be easy with an external coil and 12-volt power source, but this, I don't know, ChatGPT, it's not the smartest thing, and they said that there's a magneto maybe in here, so we'll find out. But 1 1/16, almost forgot, but got the bolt off. Can we get the lock washer off? they're almost, I got that bolt in just almost to the bottom of the thread, so that's, I want as much thread as possible. Impact is 3/8 weak. Alright, it came off. Did anything break? Here's the reveal. What's going on here? All right, well, it could be much worse in here, but again, it's not too bad, I guess. These little brushes here. The points do look a little bit dirty. A little bit corroded, so I'll get something for that. And then I'm guessing these windings broken. Basically create the magneto effect and work on these magnets, which are quite magnetic, so we'll get some emery cloth. Maybe I'll take this whole thing off, check these wires, check on this condenser, because it's a special condenser too, so may not be much I can do for that condenser, but give it a look. Give it a look over. Yeah, this obviously looks like it sets timing somehow, so all right. Yeah, this is where we're at. And let's, like I said, I'm sure there's some of you guys out there who are way smarter than me, and they're like, hey, do this next, and something, and I have no idea, because I'm not you, and this is the first time I've ever seen a setup like this. And if it's the first time you've ever seen it, then know that you and me both are going through this together. So let me just try cleaning it up, and then yeah, giving it a shot. Let's do it. Right, points cleaned. I'm back to this red plug wire, coil wire. It's all hooked up in there. Let's see if we can get some spark. I still don't see that gap in spark, so. All right, I'm just gonna connect it here and spin it over, see if I've got a better signal through the test light, and then move on from there. So I am getting a much better signal now from the coil. But let me test this wire, because the plug wire is still being not good. All right, well, this is beginning to be the longest small engine will it start video ever. And I'm only on one engine. I'm just taking it off. I've been researching these condensers, and I think I know what well, hopefully there's one with a bolt, like a bolt sticking out of it. And I've only seen that online. People selling some new old stock for $80 a piece. But this one with the nub on it, it looks like you just solder that. I've seen those in a few places. So, yeah. So I'm guessing this is just crimped in there and it pops right out. Seal looks good, right? All right, so I'm guessing I've got to find that condenser and replace it. It's got to be soldered, and all of the things have to happen to it. So, yeah, that's good. I love this thing. I love this thing. Well, this engine is looking worse and worse by the day. The one of these little mounting holes here broke, and I don't know how well you can see, but judging on all the corrosion that's underneath it, it was already cracked. It took nothing to just pull out. It didn't even make a noise, so just pulled right out. I think the only way I'm going to be able to get this flywheel off is with a giant 3-jaw puller underneath the flywheel, because there's nowhere down in here to get it. And that hole, there's still a little bit of threads in there, but not much, and I would just need even longer screws because they bottom out on these. So, and the remaining 2 bent when that one pulled out. So, yeah, that's a thing. So I guess I'm not worried about, I don't know. I've already got all the pieces to rebuild the starter on the way. This bolt here was broken. So, man. Oh. The good news is this is a much smaller engine. And I think it'll be cheaper to buy a different lift engine for this. So if I have to replace this one, this is the easier one to replace. I mean, they're both pretty easy to replace. They're not mounted just a few bolts on these. This one's on the bottom there, but this one has 4 bolts coming up from the bottom. So I think they're very similar. Yeah, see, there's some mounting holes and stuff there. So they're not too bad, but yeah, I've already sunk, luckily, not too much money into this one. Kind of both at the same time, so I guess we will see. Maybe I'll measure this, look for a giant 3-jaw puller. I'll start there. See if I can't get this one apart. But at another stopping point. Every day I hit a roadblock on these old crummy engines. Well, guys, I was hoping this would be a will it start video, and worst case scenario, I would at least get that one to pop a couple times on some ether before I pulled the carbs off and rebuilt them. But yeah, that didn't happen. I think this magneto, or at least the brain, words, mouth. That's how frustrated I am with this project. But the condenser, so I was hoping that, I think this condenser is probably it. But I did take it out. I'm going to put it on the bench because you got to solder the end. So I've seen these online, and I think I'll be able to order that one, and then maybe get that engine to pop. But both carbs rebuild kits are here. Well, one's showing up today or tomorrow, but I'll have the rebuild kits here. So that'll be my next video, getting these, I'm trying to make one good carb out of 2 because I already broke one of the bolts on that carb there. I just barely turned it in the bolt. I think there's a replacement in the kit, but the long needle, I think, for the air adjustment just snapped right off. So that's going to be fun drilling that one out, but at least I might have this one. So we'll see. I'm going to look for a big 3-jaw puller and just continue on, and try to get this one because, you know, that bolt hole is not a huge deal with the little cover. It's just a cover plate when it's not, you know, when you're not using it to pull the whole flywheel off. So I'm going to start there, try and continue on, try and get it to start. But I guess that's episode 1. That's 2+ weeks in the making. So hopefully these next episodes on this thing don't go much further. So what's next for this? You know, I think I'm going to rebuild the starter, which may be its own video, not even related to the hovercraft, but rebuild the starter on this one. Obviously take it off, replace the condensers with this magneto. I'll see if it's got a German part number, so who knows? Maybe I'll be able to cross-reference it or something. Find the full magneto. If it's under $40, I'll buy it. If not, I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to go with this one. But yeah, let's find those parts. Is it a magneto? Please correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know what it's called and what you think the problem is, because I'm sure there's some people out here who have seen this engine and know what my problem is and have been yelling at me for the last, well, my video, it's been 2 weeks for me, but yelling at me while I'm trying to get this thing started. So yeah, that's the deal. But if the condenser's cheap, I'll buy 2, one for this other one here. I was hoping that, you know, you could modify the other type of condenser, but it does not look like that. It's got a weird press crimp in there. So very interesting. We'll see. I wish there was a way to modify it so it was a different type of a, you know, I could just give it 12 volts, but yeah, I don't know if you could do that. Could you? Could you? I don't know. Maybe I'll try that real quick. But otherwise, yeah, everything else is together, hand tight. And the carbs are next. 3-jaw puller. And we'll try and get these things running. That's still the goal. And then the next step would be, if I can get that running, if I can get them both to turn on, obviously I need a propeller for the back. That's either spending a lot of money or adapting a different type of propeller that is going to be interesting. But fixing a little bit of the body work, building a skirt, and just seeing if I can get this thing to lift off the ground. Don't know how long that'll take, but hopefully it doesn't take more than a month. Probably will, but that's the plan. Let me see what I can do. Now, see, I was thinking about, can I put 12 volts to this? But I don't see how I would do that, right? I don't know. Well, keep playing with this. Show you whatever the heck I find out in the next video, and wish me luck with this hovercraft. I don't want to spend any money on new engines, but if it has to come to that, even the used engines on, like there's actually a pretty nice V-twin you can buy on Amazon. It's like $600. Everybody who's got an engine that's that big, like coming out of an old lawn tractor, even ones that don't run, they want $500. Like, come on, man. What the heck is wrong with marketplace today? Everybody thinks they can get market. Like, obviously these are expensive, but if I was selling it, you know, get rid of it for $100. So I'll keep looking. If I find one, I find one. If not, we'll see. But yeah, these are also supposed to be high RPM. So once you start changing engines, then that affects the prop. It affects the pitch of the prop, because props are supposed to, you know, spin at higher RPMs. So all those things are problems that, you know, we would have to face and overcome. So I don't know what the answer is, but hopefully we get there together sooner rather than later. So like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll catch you on the next one.